Woodlands Conservancy, along with our partners, have been working on forest restoration for over 14 years. During the next few minutes, we will share our progress with you. That update will be followed by the goals and progress for the current 2-year assessment and restoration project. Restoration and enhancement of habitat for resident and migratory birds is being made possible by funding from the Restore Council via an assistance agreement with EPA and matching funds provided by Phillips 66 and the Apache Corporation. Louisiana has the highest rate of wetland loss in the entire country. About 1/4 of the state's wetlands, an area the size of Delaware, have been lost since the 1930s. With rising temperatures, increased frequency and severity of hurricanes, the future of coastal Louisiana as we know it is in jeopardy. As can be seen on the map created by the Governor's Science Working Group, few forested wetlands remain in the coastal area. More than 80% of forested wetlands have been lost to development, leaving dwindling areas to provide habitat for native Louisiana wildlife and migratory birds in our coastal areas. Woodlands Conservancy is working to protect and restore remaining forested wetlands. We currently own 840 acres of forested wetlands, including the 650-acre Woodland Preserve and the 190-acre Delacroix Preserve. The Woodlands Preserve includes over 11 miles of trails that are free and open to the public. Woodlands Conservancy conducts monthly bird banding and ongoing forest restoration. Recent research conducted in North America revealed that we have lost close to 3 billion birds since the 1970s. 1 billion of those birds depended on forested habitat. Like the canaries in the coal mines, the significant loss of bird population sounds an alarm of the health of our ecosystem. Woodlands Conservancy began documenting bird usage of our forested wetlands beginning in 2004 with birding surveys and began operating monthly bird banding programs beginning in 2013, operating both on Delacroix Preserve and Woodlands Preserve. The birding data shows that these forests provide habitat for 163 documented species of resident and migratory birds. Of those documented species, 9 are considered species of continental importance per Partners in Flight, and 18 are considered species of conservation concern per Louisiana's Comprehensive Wildlife Conservation Strategy. We have captured over 1,700 birds that represent 60 different species. We have recaptured 370 birds, providing important information on migration, nesting, survival, and other site fidelity measures. Data provided by USGS shows over 4,000 birds during evening liftoff during migration, further demonstrating the value of the forested wetlands within this peninsula to migratory birds. Experts report that the Woodlands Preserve lost 84 years of tree growth during Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Following Hurricane Katrina's removal of the closed forest canopy, non-native invasive vegetation was concentrated at the borders of the property, began to further intrude into the forest. The primary non-native invaders on our properties include Chinese tallow, Chinese privet, Chinaberry, and Japanese privet. In 2007, we began actively working with a wide range of partners to assess, treat, and reforest our sites. Our partnership with California State University Channel Islands has resulted in 14 years of annual vegetation surveys of native and non-native trees, providing us with valuable data to assess treatment and reforestation efforts. We have treated 500 acres of forested wetlands with selective herbicides to remove non-native vegetation. Working with thousands of volunteers, 29,567 native seedlings of trees have been planted. In October 2021, Woodlands Conservancy received a 2-year Restore Gulf of Mexico Conservation Enhancement Grant administered through EPA. The grant funded the opportunity to remove invasive vegetation, reforest 2 10-acre plots with native trees and seedlings, evaluate forest restoration efforts through vegetation assessments and birding surveys. The information in the following slides show the project's goals and progress towards reaching those final goals as of May of 2022. The first goal is to conduct herbicide treatment on 840 acres of forested wetlands, targeting primarily Chinese tallow, Chinese privet, China berry, and Japanese privet. Thus far, 100% of the 650-acre Woodlands Preserve has been completed, and 53% of the 190-acre Delacroix Preserve has been completed. The second goal was to plant 200 stems per acre on two 10-acre plots, one at each site. 83% of the 200 stems per acre has been achieved at Woodlands Preserve. As you can see in the picture, this planting area is located just north of the bridge that crosses the Planters Canal. 100% of the planting goal has been achieved at Delacroix Preserve on a plot located adjacent to bird banding lanes in the southeastern section of the property. The planting included 240 wax myrtles and a variety of 1,800 native trees and understory seedlings. The third goal is to conduct transect surveys and permanent plot surveys of the vegetation at both Woodlands Preserve and Delacroix Preserve. Thanks again to our partners at California State University Channel Islands, both transect surveys and permanent plot surveys were completed at Woodlands Preserve in March. Woodland Preserve's field biologist, Peyton Mull, completed a full assessment of the 10 permanent plots at Delacroix Preserve. The fourth goal is to complete UAV mapping of our properties to complement on-the-ground surveys and assist in identifying future areas in need of additional restoration efforts. The entire Woodlands Preserve property has been mapped, and 50% of the mapping goal has been achieved at Delacroix Preserve. It is hoped that further ground truthing analysis of UAV and on-the-ground assessment techniques will lead to a more cost-effective and less labor-intensive protocol for assessment restoration progress and needs in the future. The fifth goal is to conduct monthly bird banding at both Woodlands Preserve and Delacroix Preserve. Thus far, 5 sessions have been completed at Woodlands Preserve and 2 sessions have been completed at Delacroix Preserve. The analysis of the bird data at the close of this project will contribute to an initial understanding of the effects of removal of invasive vegetation and reforesting efforts, and provide a data set that can contribute to understanding changes in bird abundance and bird diversity over time. The sixth, or final goal of the project, is public participation and outreach. Community members provided 232 hours of service in our bird banding program and 184 hours of service planting trees. Thanks to our California partners, 480 hours of service were provided conducting vegetation assessments, and 80 hours were provided by professors to conduct aerial mapping of the properties. The final part of the public participation and outreach involves communicating the goals and progress with our community on 3 occasions during the project. The session held at Woodlands Preserve on June 11th, and this video completes the first of those 3 sessions. Our goal is to share information about our efforts and hope that you will apply similar restoration strategies to your own backyard with the goal of making our community one that is more supportive of native wildlife and migratory birds.